besides those times where you get your face broken in by a 70-year-old man who can't even use hockey and has Ebola. My bad, no slander.
Who can't even use hockey and has Ebola. First of all, we don't even know if he can't use hockey, right? Don't think you can be an admiral and not use hockey. That's number one. Number two, Ebola. Where the hell did that come from? That John crazy. Let's go with y'all boys. Today we gonna be reacting to the biggest frauds ever by that guy, Sama. Let's dive in, you feel me?
When looking at the discourse of many communities, you may often find someone calling a certain character or person a fraud. But what do people mean when they say this? Webster
Jason Tatum is crazy.
Says a fraud is a person who is not what he or she pretends to be, or in other words, an imposter or a pretender. Now, in the right context, the word fraud is appropriate to use, but in many cases, the word is misused greatly. The word has been ran into the ground so much that it has lost a lot of its original meaning. Another example of this happening is the term crash out, where people have spammed it so much that the word is meaningless. In anime,
yeah, bro, I joined meeting, bro. I was watching Love Island because of a girl. She was talking about a character on the show was crashing out. Nigga, she was just crying. She was just tearing up. She was actually acting like a bastard. Talking about she was crashing out. That's not a crash out, bro. A crash out means that someone's about to get hands to their face, to their neck, or like to their life. Crying like a bastard is not a crash out, bro. I don't know, like that word got ruined. OD.
Cartoons, sports, movies, comics, etc. People are quick to call someone a fraud after losing a fight or a game when it is simply not justified. And you know, since I've been really negative in some of my recent videos, I wanted to switch it up a bit and take some time to dispel some of the fraud narratives around certain characters. So it's all positivity, man, no slander today, okay guys? The first example I want to bring up is the admirals from One Piece, as they feel like some of the most polarizing characters in the series. These guys are said to be the strongest fighters of the Marines and are shown to be some of the strongest characters in the entire series. However, fraud allegations are consistently attached to these guys' names, but quite frankly, I don't believe—
Bro, they low-key are frauds though, because I mean they're strong, but I don't have a single admiral over a single Yonko outside of Buggy, because like Buggy don't really count, or maybe Luffy because he's new. But outside of that, the admirals are low-key chips, bro. This man Green Bull got scared away from some hockey from across the sea. Aren't you the big admiral, the big Green Bull, nigga? I mean, Shanks was rolling with a crew, but like, you know, I feel like my agenda matters more, so I'm gonna pretend like he wasn't rolling with a crew. I think a Green Bull ass.
These allegations have much, if any, validity to them because the admirals have shown that their titles aren't capped. Well, besides those times where you get—
Was that ring fake?
Validity to them because have much, if any,
okay, it was real.
Validity to them because the admirals have shown that their titles aren't capped. Well, besides those times where you get your face broken in by a 70-year-old man who can't even use hockey and has Ebola. My bad, no slander. Who
can't even use hockey and has Ebola. First of all, we don't even know if he can't use hockey, right? Don't think you can be an admiral and not use hockey. That's number one. Number two, Ebola. Where the hell did that come from? That John crazy.
A lot of the times we see the admirals fight, they do show that they can hang with their opponents fairly easily. Like when Kizaru clashed with Rayleigh, he was keeping up with them without breaking too much of a sweat. And plus, this is Silver's Rayleigh we're talking about, the right hand to the Pirate King. Let's not downplay him like he's some fodder bum. Although he's old, we still have seen older characters putting in work. Even then, Rayleigh was low-key huffing and puffing during their skirmish, so who knows if this man even had enough stamina to keep fighting. A similar thought process can be applied to the Akainu and Whitebeard fight. It's not like Akainu died or got knocked out. He got back up and went back to work. Shoot, I'm not even saying that Whitebeard wasn't stronger than Akainu, but let's not act like these guys weren't trading blows throughout their fight. Another guy who be getting a lot of—
Bro, they were trading blows because Whitebeard is like 90 years old. He's like 1,000 years old. If Whitebeard was even like 5 years younger, bro, he's straight forcing that fraud ass nigga Akainu.
Like his Green Bull, because he ran from Wano due to he who shan't be name's hockey. But people fail to mention that Green Bull was basically forced to run away from Wano because he was the only major hitter from the Marines there. What y'all want him to do? Engage with one of the emperors of the sea? You don't just go attacking Yonkos willy-nilly. They have too much influence, especially Shanks. He would have gotten jumped and people would still call him a fraud. It's best to just run away and spin back another day. And y'all must have known that I was bringing this guy up. The greatest and strongest swordsman in the world, Mihawk.
Mihawk, the fashion nigga himself. He has a cross on his neck, but he's not a Christian himself. Not gonna lie though, his fist actually tough though. This whole design pattern, this jump fire, bruh. That man Mihawk really do be having that shit on, no bad.
Now whether you think this guy or Shanks is stronger really doesn't matter one bit in terms of the fraud allegations. The allegations only seem to be present because Mihawk has famously done nothing significant outside of the East Blue. This notion has caused many fans to become brain dead anytime this man pops up on screen. First off, let's get this straight. Mihawk does this pirate stuff for fun, as he's already proven himself to be the strongest swordsman. So if he don't want to fight, he's not gonna fight.
Oh, but Mihawk don't want to fight Emperor Cruz, so he's fraud.
I don't know why, but some people are really obsessed with the top tier solo squad and Yonko crews like they are not some of the strongest forces. Someone not willing to fight against the strongest armies by themselves does not make them a fraud. They're just not crazy. You don't gotta be some smoke demon
That's a fair take. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Mihawk's a fraud.
to prove that you're a strong character or that you're worthy of your title. And if I really want it to be boring, it's clear that Oda wants to hide a lot of these characters' max strength until we get to the final arc. So don't expect someone like a Kainu to go all out against some randoms. And as for the painted blade, we all know that's a joke. They just haven't explained how you get a black blade and why it's so impressive. So for now, that meme will live on. I'm gonna give it a buck. I don't even want to talk about Dragon. This is what we've seen him do in the series.
But downplaying Dragon's feat is crazy. That man created a whole entire storm in the area out of nothing and then made the whole city windy. Had grown ass men flying across the city. That video right there is a huge ass downplay. If you're not gonna call Mihawk a fraud, you gotta respect Dragon, bro. That's actually insane.
It's not just One Piece that has a lot of false fraud allegations. These allegations are rampant in other series. There are people that unironically think that characters like Gojo, Yamamoto, and Rengoku are candidates for the biggest fraud in anime history. This post is telling me that
That Gojo stuff, being a fraud is so stupid, bro. This nigga got jumped. He got jumped by 3 strong, built-ass niggas. And people think he's a fraud because he lost to 3 guys, including Sukuna. Are we serious? That jump be blowing me. The anime community is very interesting. It's very, very intriguing.
someone out there on God's green earth believes that Yamamoto's in the same class as Buggy the Clown when it comes to being fraudulent. Now I know it's probably unfair to bring up one post and paint it as why Yamamoto's in the post is telling me that someone out there on God's green earth believes that Yamamoto's in the same class as Buggy the Clown when it comes to being fraudulent. Now I know it's probably unfair to bring up one post and paint it as widespread opinion, but from my personal experience, I've seen enough people that actually think Yamamoto and Gojo are frauds for me to call it out. First off, why is Rengoku even here? What makes him a fraud? Losing to an upper moon? Akaza is given the works to basically every Hashira at this point in the story except Gyome. Anyone with upper rank 3 or higher will most likely need to get jumped. This man Rengoku didn't even have a mark. What did people expect him to do? Losing to a stronger opponent does not make you a fraud. Then the fact that people believe Yamamoto was a fraud is laughable. I alluded to talking about this in a previous video because I really wanted to talk about it. Anyways, when Yamamoto said there's no greater security than me,
people think Yamamoto is a fraud. That is crazy, bro. You saw the way that nigga was moving. He fights the top tiers and like he's a top tier, but he ain't like a top tier. So like he be getting fried. But he's not a fraud though. That's crazy. That's what Squad Zero's for.
he wasn't necessarily joking or really lying. Besides Squad Zero, who wouldn't even interfere with anything outside of the Soul King Palace, Yamamoto was the strongest security for the Soul Society at that moment. Plus, these guys weren't doing nothing to Yamamoto. What does he need security for? And let's start setting a certain record straight. The whole point of Yamamoto being beaten by Yuhabaha wasn't to show that he's weak or anything. It was to show that over the years, he became a stubborn old man. Yamamoto was never the smartest guy in the Soul Society or ever really open to new ideas for real. Man's never even got his arm healed. So him getting duped by Yuhabaha because of the traits
He never got his arm healed from the Aizen thing. Is that not insane, bro? Why the hell did he not do that?
is already shown throughout the series does not make him a pretender of some sort. His strength is still there. In fact, he probably would have defeated this version of Yuhabaha if he had his Bankai. The clone version of Yuhabaha, aka Roy Lloyd, was said by the creator.
Why's he calling him Yuhabaha? That is not his name. Yuhabaha. That his name got aura, bro. You gotta call him that. Yuhabaha. Ha ha ha. Ha. I'm done.
Himself to have about 70 to 80% of his strength, and we know that this is probably true because he boxed up Kenpachi with just his hands. And when Yamamoto popped his Bankai versus this guy, he was showing all of his moves to try to demoralize Yuhabaha. This fight was not like Cell versus Goku during the Cell games. It was a beatdown. Yamamoto was trying to make a statement. So if Yamamoto folded 70% of Yuhabaha with ease, he probably could beat him with the extra 30%. If you want an analogy, if I get smoked in the 200-meter race by like 10 seconds and I say, hey, oh wait, I ain't have my spikes on, so I was only going about 75%. What the fuck is the extra 30% gonna do? I get smoked by 5 seconds instead. And I've gone into why Gojo isn't a fraud multiple times. Gonna spoil the manga a bit, so skip here to avoid that. Cause someone tried to sneak you does not make you a fraud. If you don't like Gojo, just say that and keep it pushing.
Bro, there's no character in anime who has lived up to their hype more than Gojo and Madara. So if you're gonna call Gojo a fraud, you might as well call Madara a fraud. And we all know Madara is not no fraud. That meant Gojo had Kakashi clout, Kakashi hype, but Kakashi was ass. Gojo actually was that hype. Low-key and more too, bro. There would be all these statements saying that like, oh, this can't work, unless it's Gojo Satoru, of course. That jump hard, bro. And you gonna say he's a fraud? Are we serious? Like, niggas really just hate on anything, bro.
I said previously, to be a fraud, you have to be deceiving others with an idea that portrays you as something that you are not. This definition isn't very applicable to every character under the sun. To have this definition apply to a character better, you'd have to be getting your butt whipped in a lot of fights you get into and have a name that suggests that you are.
The Mark Grayson stray is crazy.
So it's all positivity, man. No slander today, okay, guys?
Well, so much for that. Mark is a really special case. He's not like Takamichi who gets beaten up because he's a bum of a character and a bum of a delinquent, but he gets beaten up.
Oh, it wasn't even a stray. He's just going straight slander him again in this video. This might be the second video I watched of him where he slandered Mark. That nigga does not like Mark.
Just enough for me to be like, dang, again? The genre Invincible as a series is going for is a more realistic superhero experience for
this man got the tough ass beats in the background, bro. You hear that dun 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 fucking about a freestyle, nigga?
For a teenager. So I can't expect him to just win every fight. But the fact still remains that he's gotten beaten up by a lot of people who realistically shouldn't be beating someone up named Invincible. Were there no other names available? Was something like Ultraman taken already? Let's be real. Invincible as a superhero name is extremely misleading considering the fact that I see him with a bloody nose in half of his fight.
Yeah, his name is Invincible, but I haven't really watched Invincible. I watched a couple episodes, but I haven't seen him put no belt to ass on anybody. So like, maybe it's foreshadowing he becomes invincible later on. Talk to me, muddy.
Imagine seeing the Flash, the fastest man alive, not being able to react to normal speed punches. Oh shoot. I see other characters lose one fight and get dubbed a fraud afterwards. Some of those allegations need to be directed towards Mark, especially in some parts of season 1 and 2. And it's not even the fact that he lost to a character like Battle Beast. There's no shame in that. Battle Beast is like the strongest in the verse and he went against a fairly green Invincible. But zombie robots? That's who's beating you up? Every other episode feels like some random new fighter is beating him up. And before I move on to more slander, if you're enjoying the video and you're new, you might as well subscribe. While I'm on a roll talking about frauds, I might as well bring up the Illuminati. No, I'm talking.
I was about to say that's crazy to cover in a video that junk crazy.
About the Marvel Illuminati, more specifically the one from the MCU. This might be the most useless group of people I've ever seen in my life. They should be one.
That's the nigga from The Office, Jim. What's the word, cuz? Look, that's just Jim, bro. What's the word, muddy?
People I've ever seen in my life. They should be one of the most powerful groups in the entire universe considering you have Black Bolt and Captain Marvel on the same team. But Reed Richards, one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe, somehow gave away their biggest advantage with Black Bolt by revealing his powers. And then Black Bolt murks himself? I shouldn't even have to explain why this sequence of events is stupid. Like, this is past plot armor. This might just be bad writing. Then expecting Mr. Fantastic to be able to do something against a determined Scarlet Witch, it's just foolish. To be honest, there's no need to bring up
Then he got his jaw disintegrated. That's tough. He got liquefied, bro. He got turned into a lake.
Captain Carter, she's irrelevant. But the real nail in the coffin for this fraudulent group is Captain Marvel dying to a statue. Not some crazy Hexor Infinity Stone blast. A statue and some assistance from Wanda killed one of the strongest beings in the universe. I'm being dead serious right now. How much force did she put on this statue to just instantly murk Captain Marvel out of all people? These are textbook examples of frauds. These guys deceived everyone into thinking that they were actually capable and competent enough to stop the strong threats, but they couldn't even neutralize Scarlet Witch when they clearly had the advantage. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Professor X. That's how pathetic he was in the movie. Isn't he supposed to be one of the strongest telepaths in Marvel? He just gets his neck snapped in the mindscape and just rolls over.
Damn, boy, that nigga.
Yes, man, I guess. There are also characters whose whole gimmick is them being a fraud. Hercule is a great case of this. He deceived people into thinking that he defeated Cell when we know dang well what happened.
I made a video about the greatest LARPers in anime. I don't know how the hell I forgot about Hercule. He's so fantastic at his craft, and you can tell he has genuine passion for his craft too. Like, he goes out every single day. It's almost like his reason for existing is so he can LARP some more. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why he was put on the earth. I don't know how I forgot, bro.
When he tried to fight him. That's the whole joke with him. He's very weak compared to the villains in Dragon Ball, but he somehow gets the credit for winning. Fraudulent, but it is funny. And unlike some characters, Hercule's able to box up the average Joe. A character like King is just a regular dude that just skates by because of his luck. This man is an S-class hero, but is incapable of taking down any villain with powers. He don't even know how he got this far. And I'm not even joking. King is quite literally an aura man. Most of the villains he comes across don't attack him because they get scared of his mere presence and King Engine. Which, by the way, it's just his heart thumping really loud. So he has fake aura too. I can't even say or tell if it's a gag anymore. King might just have luck manipulation at this point. And who can forget our favorite clown, Buggy D Clown?
He might, bro. Like, I mean, Saitama did some push-ups and ran a little bit, and he's the strongest nigga in the universe. So him having luck manipulation and not realizing it can low-key be a thing. No cap. That can be explored later on, because to be that lucky over and over and over, I feel like if the same thing keeps happening over and over and over, that junk won't not luck no more, bro. That's just something you just got, bro. No cap.
Who really went from rags to riches. He went from East Blue Pirate to Warlord to Emperor of the Sea. And low-key, on the surface, Buggy seems like a fraud. Well, actually, it's not seems. He is a fraud. But I don't think his Emperor status is the craziest thing in the world. Let me explain real quick. Considering the fact that he was on Roger's crew and how the world government pays special attention to anyone with association to that crew, it makes a bit of sense why that play a part into his status as a Yonko. Influence plays a big part in what the world government deems as an emperor. You know who else is a fraud? This guy, the guy from Spy Kids. Not sure if y'all watched this movie when y'all were younger, but this bum tricked me as a child into thinking he was really like that. He came in all courageous and heroic and even gave everyone hope that they'd win. Then he got all 99 of his lives taken away in an instant. He's a fraud.
He had 99 lives taken in 1 second, in an instant. Bro, do you know how much 99 is? That's a big ass number, bro. Damn, you ass. How you lose with 99 lives? You are some chips, bro.
She getting angry just thinking about it. Again, more spoilers for JJK, so skip here to avoid them. Again, briefly mention Father from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Although I know why he lost, realistically, I feel like he had everything going his way to win. He had all the strength and got boxed up by Edward, a teenager. The alchemy we saw him do was out.
I noticed every time he talks about a new fraud or like someone that isn't a fraud or a new topic in the video, he changes the music. That's pretty cool.
This world, so him losing was kind of crazy. But the whole point of his character is Father being smart enough to craft this entire plan to get this strong, but too dumb to understand certain aspects of humans to actually succeed. But that's kind of boring to say, so I'm gonna just say he's a fraud. There are way more characters that have a stronger case to be considered frauds, but I just wanted to call out some of the nonsense seen in a lot of discourse nowadays, which seems to be a lot more black and white than it should be. The context and circumstance matter a lot in how much of a fraud a character is, which is something many don't consider. Hope y'all enjoyed the video, and special thanks if you made it this far. Can't thank y'all enough for this. Also, thank you so much for 90k. 100k is the next stop, I promise y'all.
W video by that guy Olamazama, you feel me? I appreciate y'all for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next video, you feel me?